YouTube, this is Chop. Welcome to my channel. Got a really quick install video for you today. Went and picked up some Ciro LED Fang headlight bezels to go on the Road Glide. Shouldn't be too hard. Even Chop can make an install video of something easy like this, right? So let's get it done. So opened up the box, and of course you got the two lights and of course some zippy ties, which I already have a bunch of those, and a nice short list of instructions. So according to the instructions, the first thing we need to do is remove the windshield. So we remove these 4 screws here. How you like my Clockworks windshield? And we'll set this someplace safe. Okay, the next thing it says to do is to lift the front edge of the plastic vent to disengage the plastic clips. So I think you pretty much just have to lift this up. All right, got that off. Let's put that someplace safe as well. Boy, this looks really filthy in there, but I think we're just supposed to pop this out too. So we'll kind of pull on this and remove this a little bit. Kind of wedge your fingers in there, kind of pull that up. Okay, just kind of gotta pull on it. It's a little tight, but it will come out. A little nervous pulling on things too hard because you're always nervous that you're gonna break something. But it was in there kind of snug. Just kind of give it a nice little pull. Comes out okay. So let's set this down somewhere. Now there's 2 plugs for your blinkers. You're gonna need to detach these, because these are your blinkers, and you're gonna be plugging in the Ciro lights right here. So let's go ahead and remove these. So the next thing we got to do is we got to remove the speaker lids. Speaker lids here on either side, because there's a hidden bolt down in there. There's another clip way down in there, so I'm going to try and use a really long screwdriver, push that in a little bit so I can pop that speaker lid out. And it should pop right out. This is what I was talking about here, these pins here. That's what kind of keeps it snug in there. So let's go ahead and do the same to the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen this up. And there's one on that side. Hopefully you can see it right there. Gotta loosen that one up as well. So let's go ahead and get that done. Next thing we got to do is we got to remove the wind deflectors. Just a little torque screw. Let's get that out. Okay, got that off. There's wind deflectors on both sides, of course. Let's go ahead and get the other side done, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, we got the wind deflectors off. So it looks like the next step is to unplug the signal wiring harness on each side of the fairing. But we actually did that already, so we don't need to do that. Now we have to remove the Allen bolts on each side of the fairing at the base of the turn signals. That should be easy enough. Even Chop can do that. Looks like we're going to be removing those 2 bolts right there. Okay, so we got that bolt out of there. We'll do one on the other side. This won't come off, so don't worry about it. Turning signal is going to stay on there. This bolt just holds the fairing to the bike. Now, there's a reason why I left that hidden bolt in there, because now that I removed the bolt at the base of the turn signal, the only thing that's holding the fairing up are these 2 bolts on either side by the speakers. So you just want to be really careful, because if you went ahead and removed those 2 bolts first, and then there's a potential that the fairing could have fallen, and you don't want to damage your fairing. So now I'm going to go ahead and remove these bolts completely and hold on to the fairing, and just be really careful and make sure you have a safe place to set your fairing down when you get it all off. Now the fairing should just come off. There you go. There's the fairing. Nice and dirty on the inside. So let's go ahead and set this down someplace safe, and we'll go ahead and move on to the next step. This is actually my first time having the fairing off the bike. So I'm actually gonna just kind of take a minute and take a look and see if I can kind of make out what's going on here. Like I said, I'm not a technician. I'm not a motorcycle technician or mechanic. So I just want to kind of do a visual and look and see maybe later on at some other time if there might be another upgrade I want to do that will require me to pull the fairing off. So I'm just going to take a minute and just try and familiarize myself with what's going on inside here, and then we'll move on to the next step. So now the next step is to move this plastic outer piece there that's on the outside, because this is where the light bezel is going to go. So there's just two screws. There's one screw at the top and the bottom here, and then likewise on the other side there's a screw at the top and on the bottom there. So we're going to remove those 4 screws and pull these plastic pieces off. Okay, just comes off just as easy like that. Let's go ahead and do the other side, and then we'll be ready for the install of the new. So now I think we're ready to go ahead and install my Fang lights. As you can see, I did get the black trim. I did get the black plastic. I didn't want to go with chrome. As you guys know, I do love chrome. I have chrome all over my bike. I chromed out everything. But since everything around is already black, I didn't want to put chrome in here because everything around here is already black. So now I don't know if you can see it, but there is a little tab right here. It kind of goes through that hole there, and we're going to feed this screw through this hole right into there. So it's just going to kind of sit just like that. Okay, we got that side screwed in. We're gonna go ahead and screw this side in. Again, it's just a matter of screwing in some screws, so you don't need to watch me do that. So YouTube, I just found something out. That's why it's always good to really check over your bike. If you're doing an install and you're pulling stuff off your bike so you can do the installation you just saw before, I wanted to do a quick look around for a minute to just kind of check out the inside of the fairing. Well, I found something. Probably not a big deal, but something nonetheless. I'll show you. Now, I don't know if you can see right there, but there's a screw missing. There's a bolt missing. As you can see on this side, there's 2. When you look on this side, there's only 1. Now, there's only one thing that I've had done to this bike previous to today that requires you to pull the inner fairing off. And obviously when they did whatever it is that they did, because I don't like putting companies and people on blast on YouTube, but when they pulled the fairing off to do the work that I asked them to do, obviously they failed to put that bolt back in. So I know that's not a big deal, it's kind of small, but it's just another reason why if ever you're doing something around your bike and you're pulling stuff off and you're kind of looking around, I mean, it's just a good opportunity to see what's going on with the bike. Again, I'm not a mechanic, I'm not a technician, but I know what it looks like when there's a bolt missing somewhere. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out to you. Let's get back to the install. Okay, so I got both sides of the Ciro bezels on. I got the 4 screws screwed in tight. And next we're just gonna go ahead and marry up the wiring to the blinkers. And that should be pretty simple. Obviously with Ciro, as you can see, there's a male end and a female end. And with the blinkers, obviously, there's a male and female end. So you just match them up. It's pretty easy. It's just plug and play. And when I pulled the fairing off the bike, if you recall, we detached the end. So all you want to do is go ahead and match up the male end with the female end on the bike. And it's pretty cut and dry. And I'm just gonna use a zippy tie to kind of tie this off somewhere in here real quick to make it nice and snug. And then we'll go ahead and put the fairing back on. And since that's pretty much the end of the installation, after I get the fairing back on, I'll show you what the lights look like. I'll kind of turn the bike on, give you an idea of what it looks like, and we'll go from there. All right, got it all installed. Everything's put back together again. As you can see, it was pretty easy to install. It's just, I mean, if you got a screwdriver basically or a drill, you can get it done. It's just a matter of unscrewing some bolts and some screws, pulling out the old plastic piece, and installing the lights themselves. So I'm gonna back the bike up. I'll turn it on, let you see what the lights look like, and I might even fire it up just because I like to hear my pipes. So check it out. Hopefully you enjoyed my install video. Hope you like the lights. I think they look awesome. As you can tell, I don't have a lot of fancy tools, just some screwdrivers and some drills and stuff. So, but if I can get it done myself and try and save a little money, you know, that's what I'm gonna do. So anyway, thanks for checking out my channel, and we'll catch you guys on the flip flop.